All right, everyone, welcome to the Week 3 edition of Varsity Chalk Talk here at the Huli House in Westlake. I am John Boehm, your host for the night. Dave Ramnerine will hopefully be here eventually.
We'll see. We'll see if he makes it.
He's doing some Indian stuff, so he's hoping to make it out here. I'm guessing we can make fun of him a little later because he's probably driving in the rain and he's scared and stuff like that, but he'll get here.
He will.
He always does. With me is Mr. Andy Jardy. Andy.
Yeah.
It's always fun to have you out here, my man.
I know, it's great, and it's hard to believe we're a week away now from the first playoff polls. Is that right?
No, they came out. No, yeah, you're right.
Week 4, right?
It's week 4, yeah. I was thinking the AP poll came out today.
Right.
One of those days I'm already starting to forget everything. I'm old.
You're getting up there. You're just scared because last night when Aaron Rodgers went down, you thought the Packers season was over. I know how big of a Packers fan you are, and he came back and had a heroic performance, though.
I mean, I was texting back and forth with some of my family in Green Bay, and they're like, well, I mean, Deshaun Kaiser's looked good in the preseason. I was like, just watch. And then he, handed Khalil Mack the ball.
He did.
And then he threw the ball directly to Khalil Mack for a touchdown. So it's like, all right, this is fun.
Yeah, that was I saw Kaiser come into that game, and we saw enough of that last year. We knew how that was going to go, and Khalil Mack just single-handedly took over that game for the first half, and then Aaron Rodgers pulls off the ridiculous.
Does what he does.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
All right, well, like we were saying, we are here at the Huli House in Westlake, 24940 Sperry Drive in Westlake, Ohio. We're here every Monday, Andy. We're here every single Monday talking high school football.
Yes, we are, and if you want to listen to the podcast, you can find it on YouTube or on SoundCloud. If you search Varsity Chalk Talk, that is where you will find it. I believe it goes up Tuesday afternoonish around noon.
Yep.
We tape it Monday, and then it airs on Tuesday.
And, of course, this is not the only Varsity Chalk Talk that does occur. We have Bill Tilton, the founder of Varsity Chalk Talk, who's out in Mentor handling the east side of Cleveland tonight. And then tomorrow he will be at the Brooklyn Huli House talking with, kind of the mid-Cleveland southern area is probably the best way to describe what he does over there. And every single one of these is a fun one to be at. So, if you're maybe not feeling the west side, go to the east side. If you're not feeling that, go to Brooklyn on Tuesday. It's always a good time.
And you can't go wrong with anything at the Huli House. I look forward to this every Monday because I get to eat after the show and always get the Huli hunks.
For sure. Great menu. If you ever want to check out the menu, onefunpub.com.
We had some crazy stuff go down in Week 3. A lot of long streaks, either winning or losing, we saw come to an end. Obviously, Avon, the big story, losing to Avon Lake, that ending their 28-game regular season winning streak. And then the Wellington Dukes, who we're going to have on the show tonight.
Yes,
they end their 13-game losing streak, which was awesome to see.
And those kids were so happy. I mean, and can you blame them? I mean, that's a great feat for them. And, I hope it's and I know they hope it too. It's one that they never have to repeat.
Right.
So it's going to be fun talking with them and seeing just what they did on that Friday night to get that win, and then not only to get that win but to celebrate afterwards.
Sure, and I'm curious to see how school went for them today. If it was still cloud nine and everyone was still celebrating the win that they got to end their 13-game losing streak. And we were texting each other Friday night about this too. Norwalk St. Paul losing.
Yes.
For the first time since 2015 in the regular season.
That one caught me a little bit off guard, but I mean I knew Tiffin Calvert was a good team, but I didn't know if they were that level good. So that's surprising to me, especially Coach Livengood up in St. Paul, Norwalk, great guy. I love talking with him, and we've actually had him call into the show before.
Oh, really?
So that's always
before
fun.
My time.
Yeah. But, that's a good program up there, so congrats to Tiffin Calvert.
Yeah, and I believe, too, that was their first regular season loss since Week 3 of 2015, and their first home loss since 2014.
Yes, that sounds correct, sir. That definitely sounds correct.
Wow. So, we had some streaks come to an end, and a sneaky team. We talk about the SWC here in Westlake. Amherst 3-0.
Amherst 3-0.
And Kennedy Scaglioso looks mighty tough.
They've only allowed 9 points on the season so far. I think everyone knew Kennedy Scaglioso was going to do his things, but that defense, it's looking pretty sharp. It's going to be fun to see what they can do this week against Midview, I believe they have on tap.
They do have Midview, who tends to be their kryptonite over the years, and Midview's a little bit down this year, but I know Amherst, I've talked to some of their coaches, they are not taking that game lightly. I mean, that's a chance for Amherst to go 4-0 and really start to make themselves. They like the fact that nobody's talking about them, so maybe I should stop talking about them right now. I'm sure they're not happy about this, but they like the fact that everyone's just kind of overlooking them.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those ones where there's no reason to overlook them.
No.
Let's be honest, we say it every week. There's no reason to overlook any Southwestern Conference team because any team in that conference can pick up a win like that.
Right, for sure. And, Yeah, so we've got Avon Lake in the house. Avon should be joining us as well, and the Wellington Dukes will be on the show tonight. But, yeah, where do you want to go? Do you want to start this thing off?
Let's see here. Yeah, I think we can bring up Avon Lake if Avon Lake's ready. Yeah. Sherman, you ready to come on up?
Yeah, I think they are enjoying their food that we might have to take them away from.
Yeah, they'll forgive us.
So, yeah, we'll have the Avon Lake Shoremen joining us up here shortly, coming off their big win over Avon this past week, winning 31-28. Avon Lake now 3-0 on the year, 2-0 in the SWC, as they've beaten Elyria this year 42-15, North Olmsted 49-14, and then, of course, beating Avon 31-28 last week in what was a back-and-forth game. It was a crazy game, an emotional game as you would expect in a rivalry, and Avon Lake scoring 31, Avon 28. And Avon Lake, thanks for joining us. Coach, who you got up on stage here with you tonight?
Thanks for having me back.
We love having you. We love having you guys out for sure.
Yeah, go ahead and just tell who.
Well, I'm Coach Kostelnik.
Matt Sanders.
I'm Jack Mikulich.
All right, so obviously, big win last week, beating Avon, your arch rival. Just take us through that game and what it was like coming out on top.
Well, first off, hats off to Coach Elder, and the rivalry is fantastic. Really great for our communities, and I was just really impressed on how much of a dogfight it actually was until the end. And kids played great, and I was glad that we were able to hold on to the win and execute at the end. And just all around, great atmosphere by our fans, great execution by our boys, and all great win.
Have you come down yet from the win? Is it tough to get past that and start focusing on this week, or are you still riding the adrenaline?
Oh no, I moved on Saturday morning. I was ready to rock.
For you guys, what was school like today? Was everyone still abuzz from the game Friday night?
Yeah, obviously teachers and friends are excited for us, and obviously we're still a little excited too. But like Coach said, we're moving on, ready for Westlake next week.
How about for you, Jack? How was school for you today? Was it just all still excitement for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was mainly teachers just coming up and just telling you great game and stuff, and thanks for beating them finally. But other than that, it was pretty much a normal day.
All right, I want you two to take me through the final minute of the game. Obviously, you scored the go-ahead touchdown with 30 seconds left. You had the game-sealing interception there. Just tell me when you scored, Jack. Tell me what was going through your mind.
It just felt so relieving after all that hard work throughout the game, and I knew our defense was going to stop them, so I wasn't worried or anything. So it just was a great feeling.
Now, was it a planned play for you to run it in, or was it you just saw the defense and you read it and was like, I'm taking this?
Yeah, it was planned. I wasn't supposed to follow Connor, but I did because I knew he'd lead me in there.
And for you, Seth, when you get that interception, I mean, as soon as you secured that ball, what was running through your head?
I honestly had no clue that I even had the ball. It kind of happened so fast, and then Luke Fetters, the safety behind me, was telling me to go down so I wouldn't lose the ball or something. And I was just so excited. I didn't even know what was going on. And then all the guys are on top of me. We won the game. It was just a great feeling, to end the game that way.
Now, student section, did they rush the field, all that stuff?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
What was that like?
I've talked to a couple kids, and they said it was just crazy what was going on in the student section, how things apparently broke, a rail broke or something. They're the best. They're seriously crazy.
I keep seeing quotes from this game that you guys are getting back to Sherman Football. What does that mean? Could you tell me what Sherman Football is about?
My definition of Sherman Football is being winners, and I think we're back to that, and we just need to keep this going right now. We just need to keep working hard to practice, executing in the games, and just coming out with wins.
Coach, what do you think about that when people say we're playing Sherman Football again? What does that mean to you?
It's really just being consistent, running the football and take care of business on Friday night. It's great to look back and especially when we're running the ball more, look back and see the giant smile on Coach Lucas' face. But executing at a high percentage, I mean, Jack percentage-wise is over 65% completion percentage, which is fantastic. And when we needed him the most, he delivered. So, and that's Sherman Football, in my opinion, that, kids and different kids step up every single week. They said even the week before when he was 9 of 14, I'm like, I said in film, he's 100% on his decision-making. So when we needed him the most in the biggest game of the year up to this point, he delivered, and he kept with that. So that Sherman Football and playing fast defense and playing tough defense, little let down in the third and fourth quarters, but, we got to clean some stuff up and we'll get back to it, but that's what I feel like Sherman Football is.
What's going through your head when game-winning touchdown there and then the game-winning interception? Just what was that moment like for you?
I was kind of on the Fetters routine of just get down.
Just fall down.
I was looking up at the clock. I'm like, is there really 1 second left? And then all of a sudden it ran off. I'm like, all right, good. We're good. I can celebrate now.
Obviously, like we've been saying, Avon, huge rival. Was it hard to get the kids? I don't want to say get the kids ready for that game. Was it hard to keep them focused for that game because the emotions are so high?
No, actually, I find those games are easier for the kids to focus. I mean, they're hungry. It's the games that you worry about the kids getting up for that are the scariest as a coach, in my opinion. Because the kids will be up and ready to go for Avon. That's 1 week I don't worry about. Now, still have to worry about execution at practice and that thing, but the kids come up and they're ready to go definitely during the rivalry week.
Now, obviously, like you said earlier, you're already past it. You're ready to move on to this upcoming week. You guys have Westlake 0-3, but a team that can score in droves. What have you kind of been telling the team to make sure they've moved on past the win and are not overlooking Westlake?
Well, I would agree. Yeah, they are a team that can score in droves. I mean, they got a solid quarterback, solid running back, solid wide receiver. They're just they get down easy. As far as overall, you could see it drop on film a little bit, but if we keep them in this game, and if they execute at a high level, especially on their offense, I mean, it's going to come down to the wire. So our kids got to understand that you got to come out fired up no matter who it is. You got to execute on all levels. 0-3 doesn't mean anything in our conference, as seen in years past. I mean, I think the last time the Westlake went off the playoffs, I think they started off at 1-3 or something like that, and they rattled off 7 straight. So in our conference, you never know. So we got to be up and ready to go every week.
Is it easy for you guys to move now past the Avon win and start focusing on Westlake?
Yeah, I think it's quite easy. As Coach says, the Avon win is not going to taste as sweet if we lose this next game. So we can't come out unfocused or we can't come out, lackadaisical. We just have to go out and do what we do.
Really all that's on my mind is just winning the SWC right now. And I know if we have a hiccup and lose, our chances of winning go down a lot. So we just got to stay focused on our goal.
What's the biggest key for you guys this week to beat Westlake?
Just establishing our running game, and then it'll open up the pass. That's what we've done. And then obviously stopping their offense. I mean, their offense is going to be pretty good, but our defense will be able to stop them, I think.
Whenever you go against a team that is proficient in scoring, like a team like Westlake, you really want to focus up on your defensive team periods, your defense. You need to stay focused, obviously. With a team that's 0-3, it goes back to overlooking them. There's no team that you can overlook in the SWC. So we're focusing on staying focused.
It's pretty well said, Coach. I don't know if this is the best way to ask this question or the right wording for it, but do you feel like the win over Avon maybe vindicates you guys, or maybe people now are going to start saying, "Oh, Avon Lake is back"? Do you get that impression, or?
Yeah, I think to a degree. But again, I've been telling the kids, and Matt already alluded to it. I've been a part of programs where you get that signature win, and then, you get that little bit of a letdown. And again, when these guys are sitting around hanging out 10, 20 years from now, are they going to sit there and be like, we beat Avon, but we did this, but. So you don't want to have that. It's not going to taste as sweet. It's not going to be as fulfilling if you don't go out and take care of business the next week. And that's what we got to be focused on, and that's what we plan on doing.
Now, Coach, the first AP poll of the season came out today. Avon Lake is ranked number 4 in the state for D2. How much credence do you give to the AP polls, or is it one of those things where it's kind of just background noise? You guys are happy to be on it, but you don't really give it too much stock?
Yeah, it's kind of background noise. I mean, you never, I don't focus on that. I don't even look at playoff rankings until after about week 6. So it's awesome, though. It's cool, but I don't worry about any of that. Not to offend anybody here, but I don't read the paper unless my wife comes up and is like, "Hey, you had a nice quote here, or somebody wrote something nice about you." Other than that, I block all that out. So.
How about for you guys? Do you guys pay attention to that kind of stuff, or is it just one of those things where it's cool that people are noticing you, but you got to keep doing your business?
We're all about the business. I mean, it sounds cheesy to say, but those things are nice. Like when people are starting to recognize you and your play on the field. But we just want to win. We're all about the SWC championship. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Matt. He said it perfectly, pretty much.
Okay. Well, just want to ask you a couple non-Avon Lake football-related questions. Did you guys watch the Browns game yesterday?
Yeah.
What did you guys think? Was it encouraging? Was it disappointing? Was it a little bit of both?
I think it was disappointing because, I mean, we were so close. And, of course, the Browns end our losing streak with a tie. That's just the most Browns thing ever. So I don't expect anything less from the Browns.
I'm going to have to agree with him here. I mean, we were all sitting in our friend's basement watching the game. You know, we come back late in the third quarter. They miss a field goal. We're on wherever we're at 30, miss a field goal. You know, we're like, oh, wow, shocker. So
with a tie, what's their final record going to be this year?
4. I don't know.
I'm saying 10-5-1.
All right.
I'll go with that.
Sounds good. Well, we are joined on stage by the Avon Lake Shoremen. Big winners over Avon this week. They have Westlake up next week. Thank you guys for coming out. We love having you guys out here. Love talking with you guys. Thank you for coming, and good luck this week.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That was the Avon Lake Shoremen. Thank you guys so much. And it looks like Mr. Ramnarian finally decided to show up over here.
Yeah, look at that. Came right on time. He knew the interview was wrapping up, and he just decided to sneak in. And we got to say all these things before we give him a microphone.
Oh, yeah, of course. But, you know, talking with Avon Lake there, they're confident. They're ready to take on Westlake, but they're not overly confident. It's exactly where I think they need to be.
I mean, that's the benefit of playing in the SWC, too. You don't have a chance to let up on anybody because on any given week, any team could surprise and pull off an upset, and that just speaks to the conference itself.
For sure.
Whoa.
We got Mr. Ram messing with the stuff over here, and all of a sudden it got really loud on us. But how you doing, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I can barely hear you guys. I was out in the parking lot waiting to hear you guys, but had to come in here. Good show, huh? Good show. Had the Shoreman on, of course. Yeah. Big win. Boy, this high school football season, more than any other that we've done together, has really been a shocker to me. You know, with the St. Ed's, the St. Ignatius, Euclid losing last week, Avon Lake, you know, beating their arch rival, getting back on top of the SWC. Very interesting this year.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about that, just some of the crazy streaks that have ended this past week, winning streaks, losing streaks coming to an end. It's been a wild start, and I feel like more so this year, John and I have texted each other on Friday nights and been like, did you see this? Like, can you believe that this has happened or that this team won? It's been fun.
Well, it's easier for us to text now because you're not standing out in the rain for games anymore.
It's
you're
true.
in the office.
It's true. That is correct. Although I do have to go shoot a game for a little bit this week.
What game are you talking?
Worcester is playing at Madison.
Okay.
Big OCC showdown.
There you go. That should be it.
Speaking of losing streaks, actually, Madison ended their 19-game losing streak last week. So
there we go.
Yeah.
There you go. So you're checking them out, seeing if they can get a 2-game win streak started?
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be a long year for them, but they've got the right guy leading them now in Coach Stupka. So we'll see what happens with them.
Coach Stupka, as in former Ilier Catholic head coach?
Yes.
Dave Stupka?
That's correct, yeah.
I was wondering where he might have ended up at. He's someone who knew was going to land on his feet, but I wasn't sure where he might end up at.
He likes the colors, you know. That's why he ended up there. That's the same color scheme.
There we go. Well, should we bring up Wellington?
Yeah, I think Wellington has
Dukes
arrived.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, Wellington is here. They're coming up to the stage. The Wellington Dukes, they just ended a 13-game losing streak this week by topping New London 34-22. And I'm sure this is going to be a very happy interview coming up here.
Absolutely. Anytime you can get off the schneid and get a victory, whether it be week 1, week 2, week 3, as we saw yesterday with the Browns, you asked a question about the Browns. I don't know, man. I've never seen anything like that in my life. We were standing outside the locker room, and it was just one roller coaster hill after another. I thought I was on Steel Vengeance out at Cedar Point with these guys, you know, and it almost like no one wanted to win the game.
What I will say is with that game, I am not happy about it, but I'm encouraged because last year that wouldn't even been a tie. That would have been a 40-point loss. So I'm encouraged that they're taking the right steps, but I'm not happy with the result by any means.
John, That might as well have been a tie. You sound like the media members.
It was a tie.
Yesterday. I mean, what I'm saying is that might as well have been a loss. I'm sorry. You sound like the media members after the game yesterday as well. At least we didn't lose. I mean, you get 6 turnovers and you still can't win. Something's wrong there.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not saying that I'm happy they tied, because that is just inexcusable. 6 turnovers, like you said, that should have been a 20-point game in the Browns' favor. But I'm just glad that at least they're showing competitiveness, unlike last year. I didn't turn the game off like I would have last year.
Well, on that note, let's talk about a team that actually did win this past
week,
and that's the Wellington Dukes. Guys, thanks for coming up and joining us. Coach, introduce yourself and who you've got with you here on stage.
Coach Rob Howells, head coach.
Ben Higgins, quarterback.
Mason McClellan, running back and free safety.
Jaden Skinner, wide receiver and corner.
So, Coach, the losing streak, it's over. How good did it feel to get that first win?
It felt great. First-year head coach there, so I didn't get to go through it, but I heard a lot about it and, talked a lot about it with these guys over the off season and used it to fuel us, and just to see them enjoying it. I mean, even sticking around for at least a good hour after the game, hanging out on the field, eating in the field house, and just, that whole team chemistry and camaraderie that we've built and belief that we've built. Just felt nice to get that monkey off the back, and community came out in full support, and, good for them. And now hopefully we can keep it rolling and get a couple more.
What was it like for each of you guys to get that first win?
Definitely exciting. I've never experienced that as a starter, so as a starter this year is like the feeling of leading your team to a win. It was really exciting, and after the game, there's no feeling like it.
Yeah, just to top off of that, it was just a great feeling.
It was a great feeling. Never experienced a win in my high school career, and as a starter, it was great.
What was school like for you guys today? Were people still just enjoying Friday night's win?
Yeah.
Teachers saying stuff and anything?
We were still very excited when we walked into the locker room today. But like we know, we have to move on to the next week. So
I think it's exciting for everybody, but yeah, like he said, we got to move on. We can focus more on this week, but definitely keep that in our back pocket as a momentum.
Was there a specific moment where you guys realized, hey, we're going to win this one, or were you guys just not chinksing it until the clock said 0?
At halftime, I was real confident when we came out and gave up a score. We got a little shaky and then came right back out and we pulled it off, right?
Yeah. It was like 34-6 at one point, right? Yeah, or 34-8, and then we were all just excited, and then they scored a few times, and we just shut them down from then.
The fourth quarter, the middle of the fourth quarter is when I realized we were going to win it, because they stopped scoring and we just kept getting turnovers.
If you could attribute one emotion to what was going through you guys when you saw the clock get to 0, what would that emotion be?
It was nuts. Everyone was just jumping around. Just everyone was excited. It was crazy. It was a great moment.
I feel like when our defense got some stops, and there's some big plays there, and it stopped them from getting big plays, and they turned it over on fourth down, and we got the ball back in the last drive in the fourth quarter. It was a huge momentum shifter, and I felt like we had it in the bag.
It was very exciting. Like I said, I've never experienced a win, and we were all excited.
Coach, it's 20-8 at halftime. Your players talked about that they were feeling confident at halftime. Were you at all worried about maybe, or what were you feeling at halftime? Were you feeling that this was coming?
I think a little bit of both. As a coach, you have to stay even keel. I know my message to them was at 0-0. We still have 24 minutes to go out there and execute. Game's not over at all. Even at 34-8, I still wasn't quite there. I was feeling a little bit better, but I'm a guy, you got to play the whole game out. And then that just turned around and showed. Now, next thing you know, it's 34-22, and you're kind of thinking, uh-oh. We need to stop here. We need to establish something on offense. What's going on right now? And, our defense stepped up huge in the fourth quarter. created a couple turnovers, came up with a couple big sacks, and shut them out in the fourth quarter, and we were able to breathe with a sigh of relief when we ran out the clock there at the end.
Now you guys had an onside kick in this game, and you also had a halfback pass. How did those plays come about? Is that something you were working on, or do you just when do you feel is like the right time to go to something like that?
Well, we've been working on trick plays a little bit all year, and I think it's something that every team has in their back pocket just in case. For me, it was more of a momentum feel thing of the game, and talking with these guys and seeing what they liked and what they saw and what they thought would work. What had happened there at the end of the first half is they scored, and then we ended up kind of having a bad return, and we had a 95-yard drive with 2 minutes left. And one of those plays was that halfback pass where we actually went into like a wildcat formation, spraying out. Ben Higgins boxed out 2 defenders. Our quarterback went up and got it like a rebound on the 2-yard line and had the presence of mind to start screaming to the team to get up to spike the ball. Then we called the same play, said, hey, we've been spiking the ball and moving the ball. We got 17 seconds here. If we don't get in on this first one, line up and run it again. Mason was able to punch it in, and we went into halftime with a huge momentum swing, and we've been onside kicking it here and there. Again, just part of that momentum swing. Let's try to keep the ball. Let's try to keep this rolling. So coming out of half, we did a surprise onside kick, got it. On the third play, it was 3rd and 10 from the 49. I said, I can't let this go to waste, and called a double pass, and Jaden threw Ben threw it out to Jaden wide, and then Jaden tucked it, took 2 steps. The whole defense came flying up, and he found Parker Adler for a big play. So I think it's just one of those things where you have to feel it out, feel the game, feel your players, and try to capitalize on the momentum that your team has.
Coach, you guys have been on the other side of that plenty of times lately. How do you repeat the performance here and keep this same feeling going, this feeling of euphoria after winning a game? How do you keep that going for next week?
Well, I guess I'm hoping it snowballs. I'm hoping they now know what it feels like to win and how good it feels, and let's go. All the respect to New London, they did it with class and kept fighting, but I'm not going to lie. When I saw the clock be at 34-8, I said, I want one more. Let's get the running clock on the other side, and Mapleton did a great job and showed a lot of class last week and sat their guys. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't make excuses, but the cards are stacked against us, and we have been using that David and Goliath thing all year long. Up until this past week, we've only had 20 players, 1 senior, and we go to battle. We had a first half lead against the Division II Normandy team and gave up a couple big plays late in the half, was only down 10, and then kind of fell apart. Had it 14-7 halfway through the second quarter against Mapleton. Again, a senior-led team, a big, strong team. And unfortunately, turnovers and balls didn't start bouncing our ways. And at one point, we had 6 freshmen playing defense in the second quarter because that was that 90-degree night. Had guys cramping up, and that's tough to win. I mean, when you're facing an experienced senior-led team, again, no knock to anybody on this football team because they give it their all every day, day in and day out. We haven't used it as an excuse, but at the same time, it can be.
Well, you spoke of David and Goliath and some of the deficiencies that are on the team. How important are the little things to do the little things right, that attention to detail, your blocking assignments, your footing, all that stuff? How important is it for a team like yours in order to pull out a victory?
It is of utmost importance, and for any winning program it is, and that's what you want to build it on. But for us, a penalty that puts us back or limits our offense from being out there, and now our defense is always out there, or that turnover, it's huge. So, the slogan since I've been there is win the day. You have to win that day, focus on that detail, focus at the task that's right in front of us, and try to capitalize on the moment.
So you guys got Clearview up next, PAC champion from last year, playoff team from last year. It's got a really good run game. without giving away any secrets, what's kind of the key to victory in that game?
We have to slow that run game. I mean, Angle is a real good player, a returner from last year. They have a lot of guys returning from that 9-1 championship team. So rally to the football. Be assignment, defensive key sound, get 11 hats around that football. The first guy's not going to bring them down. And I told him that in our scouting report meeting today. We need 11 hats getting to that football.
How about for you guys? I mean, what are some of the key things you guys think you're going to have to do in order to get a win against Clearview?
We definitely have to stay positive. We used the momentum from last week, and we carried it over into this week. And tackling's a big thing. I think our offense, between the line and the backs, we have plenty to go along with Clearview. But our tackling, if we stop their backs and we tackle hard, and I think we can definitely come out with the win.
Yeah, like Coach said, we're going to have to stop the running game. Angle, he's a really good running back. For our offense, I think we have the players to make plays, and yeah.
We just have to execute on offense and work hard during the week to prepare for battle.
Did practice feel at all different today without the weight of the losing streak on your shoulders? Was it more of a light atmosphere? You guys were more excited to be there, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it was. Well, our conditioning today was really fun. We got really muddy, and it was really fun today. Yeah.
Practice is definitely a lot funner. Instead of it's a negative attitude and you have to work harder, it's you have to work harder still. But everybody's positive because instead of 0-3, you're 1-2.
Practice was way lighter today. It was very exciting and fun.
Now, like you mentioned, it was a nice muddy practice. Do you guys prefer practicing in the mud, or would you rather it be dry? What do you guys like best when it's out there?
Dry for sure.
As somebody that's got to throw the ball and get the snaps, I definitely prefer it to be dry and a nice sunny night, right?
Well, catching the ball, so probably dry.
All right, we are on stage with the Wellington Dukes, 1-2 on the season. Picked up a big 34-22 game over New London this past week. Clearview at 2-1 on tap next week. I'm going to embarrass you guys really quick since it's your first time out here. We like to have a little fun with the kids and get to know them a little better. So, we'll start easy on you guys. Are the Cavs going to make the playoffs this year without LeBron James?
I think it'll be close. I'm not much of a basketball guy, but LeBron's a big key to the puzzle, and I think they're going to miss him. But I think they can make it.
Yeah, I definitely think they can for sure. I like Colin Sexton a lot. I think he's going to be really good. So I think he's going to carry up the team, him and Kevin Love. I like Kevin Love a lot too, so I think they'll make it.
Well, they got a lot of young people on the team. I think they'll just miss the playoffs.
Indians, they'll make the playoffs for sure. How far are they going to go in the playoffs?
I think they're going to go to the World Series. I think they definitely have a good shot at winning the World Series, too. They got a great lineup, and they picked up some really good, experienced guys. Indians are going to win the World Series this year.
There we go.
Same thing, yeah. I think they're going to win.
I think they'll win the World Series.
All right, now we're going to get a little tougher on you guys and embarrass you a bit.
Oh, God.
Who's your celebrity crush?
I have a girlfriend.
Summer Rae.
Demi Lovato.
Good picks there. Andy, got any other questions you want to learn more about these guys with?
I think you took them all. I'm hoping they're not watching the Indians game right now, though, because Kluber's not pitching very well. But I agree we're going to the World Series this year. Ram doesn't agree, but...
Well, if Kluber continues to pitch like this, we're not going anywhere. But we shall see. They've got a chance. They definitely got a chance. That's all you need. That's why you get down. You guys roll out there every week, Coach. And I know it had to be hard, knowing that you're going in undermanned and maybe sometimes overmatched. But this is why you play the games, right? You go out there and you prepare and you work your butt off all week. It's just nice to come home on a Friday night and say, you know what, the plan worked this week.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. It was definitely made for a little funner of a weekend for myself as well. but the
your eggs looked a little better Saturday morning.
Yeah.
A little bacon tastes better.
Oh yeah, everything was a little sweeter. I had a nice big beard before and made a bet with the guys that once we get that win, they can go ahead and shave it off, and that kind of went all over social media. So I had a lot of fun with that. But this is probably the most candid I've been in front of these guys is with you. Because I don't say any of that stuff around them. Every week we have a chance, like you said. That's why we play the game. That's why we line it up. We put our cleats on the same way anybody else does, and we've performed early in games. It's but again, the realism of our depth has hurt us, and luckily we were able to fight through that. We had similar issues in the New London game, and that's why we gave up a couple late scores. But we were able to get those guys back in the game and stay rather healthy and finish it strong.
Well, gentlemen, Coach mentioned the word, you got to fight through it. Anyone can win one game. It's that consistency, trying to win back to back and doing it over and over again. That's where the hard part comes in, trying to win that. What's the key to victory this week against your opponent? Any of you guys?
For me, again, it's limiting the mistakes, limiting the turnovers, penalties. As they said, execute on offense. Even if we don't capitalize on those big plays, let's have the running game that we've had the past couple weeks where we're averaging 3-4 yards a carry. Keep their strong offense off the field. Try to wear down their defense and just fight through the end. And then, again, defensively, rallying to the football, causing mistakes on their part, whether it's turnovers or penalties. But again, rallying to the football and tackling those talented backs that they have.
I mean, I don't know what else there is to say on that one. That's the perfect analysis on what it's going to take to get another victory, to get a 2-game win streak going. So let's root for Wellington on that one. Got Wellington at 1-2 on the season, get ready to take on Clearview. Thank you for making it out, guys. I know it's a bit of a hike for you guys, but we love having you guys out here. Come back whenever you guys are able to make it.
Great, thank you.
The Wellington Dukes, how about that?
Man, always have the Dukes. They've got the coolest, to me, one of the coolest mascots and nicknames out of anyone here in the state of Ohio.
It's just fun
one of
to
my
say.
Favorites.
The Dukes.
Of course, the Wellington Dukes.
Yeah.
And not to mention their band. Their band is one hell of a band.
Yeah, I haven't seen them.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
So what's going on with you? Where were you at this past week? I mean, I know you were in the studio, but your broadcast, where were they at this week?
We did the Westerville North Mansfield Senior game. Mansfield Senior won that game. Almost blew it, but they took care of Westerville North, and Senior now 2-1. They've been an interesting team this year down there. A lot of people expected them to do a lot, and they've hit their bumps, but I think they're starting to figure it out now.
Well, you know what? I came in a little late, but you boys look like you might have had a long weekend. You look a little tired. Yeah. Kind of quiet.
Well, we mentioned this earlier, but
I'm the one that's been up since 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Or matter of fact, make it 1 a.m.
Okay.
Just, so you guys got a little energy. You guys pick it up here.
So what you're saying is you went to bed, or you got up before I was off work from Sunday night. Good times. But we talked a little bit about the Packers game. I was saying some choice words at the TV when I saw Deshaun Kaiser coming in, because we all know how that works around here. I mean, like I was telling Andy, I have some family up in Green Bay that were texting, hey, he's looked good in the preseason. I'm like, just wait. Then he hands the ball to Khalil Mack, and then he throws the ball right to Khalil Mack, and it was like, this seems about right. So, it was a rough first half for me on that game. But
and the beauty of high school football, too, is we don't have ties.
Yes. No ties in high school football. I mean, as evidence, Rocky River, Fairview, week 1 going to triple overtime. So, I mean, they're just going to play till they get a win. Or until, I don't know, it's the next Friday and they have to start a new game. Something.
So where do you guys sit on the overtime for pro? Do you think I think they should be 15 minutes. I mean, if anything, if they make any adjustments, I think it should go back to 15 minutes instead of 10 minutes. I don't mind the system they have, where if you kick a field goal, the other team gets a shot, but the next one to score. But
I hate it.
You don't like it?
No. I'm all about the college overtime.
I like the college overtime, too. I don't know why folks don't like that.
Yeah, because the shortened field, I think, gives people some issues, but I think it's at least you have a winner at the end of the day. And I think people like to complain about extra innings in baseball, and you should start with a guy on second base. But That game yesterday took, 4.5 hours?
Something like that.
And you don't get a winner at the end of it? Like, that's ridiculous. You just don't know what to do. Yeah, they pulled Kluber after 2 innings. He didn't even make it through the second. I don't know. Let's not talk about it.
For me, with overtime and pros, I just want them to take 15 minutes and just play it like an extra quarter. Keep going until you get a winner, and just not this sudden death stuff. Just play another quarter.
Would you go to penalty kicks with the field goal kickers?
Not with the Browns field goal.
Well,
kicker.
I know that, but
I don't think I'd go that far, but it'd be interesting to see, if nothing else.
Speaking of interesting, you have a fantasy draft here starting soon, right?
Just started.
Who are we taking? Where are you picking?
No, I'm picking number 5 here, and it kind of depends. There's someone auto drafting ahead of me, which always is annoying. So we'll see what happens here, but Todd Gurley just got taken, so we'll see what happens when I get down to number 5.
Okay. Well, my team did very well this first week, so.
All right. Well, we're here at the Huli House, as we are each and every Monday night, 24940 Sperry Drive in Westlake, Ohio. If you're traveling west on 90, get off at Clegg Road and come over the overpass, come down on your right-hand side, and you will find the Huli House here. We are here each and every Monday night. Andy Jardy, along with John Boehm and myself, David Ramnerine, talking high school football here on Varsity Chalk Talk. Billy Tilton is all the way out on the eastern side of the Northeast Ohio in Mentor on Reynolds Road at the Huli House there, talking to teams like Euclid. I'm sure Euclid's out there this week after he did good for me.
Okay.
Good for me yesterday. As John's contemplating taking Saquon Barkley here in the first round. He's been going in the first round in almost everyone's mock draft. But we're here each and every week. Speaking of fantasy football, if you're still having these, a draft, a late draft, or you're doing DraftKings or something like that, this is a great place to do a draft here at the Huli House. Of course, they have Wi-Fi. The televisions are here. We've got Monday Night Football on. We got the Indians getting it taken to them right now, along with what else do we have? Pardon the Interruption is on. We got a little college football from over the weekend, a little replay there. So not a bad seat in the house when it comes to televisions here. They've got the fire pit today.
Tonight
is
might
a
be
day
the night
for the fire pit.
I agree. Finally, the fall weather is here. We can actually go out there and enjoy it. I'm excited.
Absolutely. I got a feeling from this point, although on Friday I hear it's supposed to be 85.
Yeah, it's supposed to warm up again, I think, after maybe today or tomorrow.
It all depends if that hurricane decides it wants to hit Ohio or not. If it hits Ohio, it's going to be a miserable, rainy, 50-degree night. So we'll see what happens.
All right, so what else we need to cover here, boys? What's the big game this week, Johnny? Let's take a look at that and see what we got on tap here for the week of September 14th.
This is one of those interesting games where it's a lot of SWC ones that you can see some upsets happening. You got undefeated Amherst with Midview coming to town. Avon fresh off a loss against North Olmsted, fresh off an overtime win. Holy Name, Rocky River's another one to keep an eye on. You don't know exactly what's going to happen there. Holy Name looks like they might be a little bit down this year, but you never know. North Ridgeville, Maria Mid Park, that's 2 teams in the pack looking to show they're ready to take the next step. But honestly, the one that I have kind of my eye on is Elyria Catholic and Mogador. Mogador is always a good team. Elyria Catholic 3-0, just laid 74 points on Cleveland Central Catholic in 3 quarters. Yikes. So that offense is legit. So it's going to be fun to see how that one works out. But I honestly don't know how that one's going to go. That one I could see being a nice, tight one that comes right down to the end. But, yeah, there's a whole slew of games that it's just really hard to figure out. Then you have some of the random ones like St. Joseph from Ontario, Canada, coming to play Lorraine. I don't even know what to think of that one because I know nothing about St. Joseph.
You don't keep up on your Canadian high school football?
I'm assuming they're playing in the United States, so it's not Canadian football rules. So the fields are going to be smaller. Is it going to mess with them? I don't know what's going on. It's going to be. It's going to be weird.
I never thought about that.
It's got to be hard for them to come to the United States and play different rules, right?
No, I think they're playing that. They're playing the regular rules. Remember, we had a couple of years ago. We had I can't remember which team we had on that was taking on a Canadian team, and they talked about the fact that those kids love to come down here, play the regular football. They're not playing Canadian League football. They're playing regular football, and they actually love coming here because it's almost like a studying abroad type of deal, football style.
What was the team we had on, too? Didn't they have a foreign exchange student from, like, Serbia playing? Who was that, Bay? And he was just talking about how they I think he said they practiced the American football way over in Serbia. So
there's a lot of teams from Ontario playing football. I know that St. Ed's and St. Ignatius, that's a regular deal for them. They usually play at least one a year. So that should be pretty interesting as John is on the clock next on round 2 for his Tyreek Hill is where he's going. He's sucked in from this week's performance. We'll see what happens.
I'm going Tyreek Hill because he's going to get so many targets. He's bound to have yards. I don't know if he's going to get the scores, but he's always going to put up some good yards. That's my thought.
By the way, what's the name of your team?
I am my classic one that I've been using since 8th grade, Team Prodigy. I have no clue why I thought of it back then, but it's just what sticks there, so I'm too lazy to change it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess.
Yeah, I won last year, so.
There we go. All right, boys. Well, another outstanding night here on Varsity Chalk Talk. We love coming here to the Huli House. Always a great time. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere here. Come on out, not just on Monday nights, but all throughout the week. They've got all kinds of specials. Of course, Monday night is happy hour all night long here at the Huli House. Just get out here and check it out. If you do come, try and get here on Monday night because we'd love to have you. You want to listen to the podcast, it goes on YouTube and on SoundCloud. That's from Tuesday until Monday, and then we put the new one up on Tuesday night. So for Wellington, Avon Lake, we appreciate those guys coming on out and joining us. And Avon, did I miss Avon?
Did not make it out.
Avon couldn't make it out this week. Okay. They're usually here each and every week, but they'll be back next week, I'm sure. But thanks to those guys for coming on out. So for my partner, Andy Jardy, John Bain from the Lorain Morning Journal. My name is David Ranmarine. We will see you here next week here on the podcast for Varsity Chalk Talk. Have a good night, everyone.